Hi, I'm Kim Zimmer, and I've had the incredible privilege of playing Guiding Light's unforgettable Reva Shayne Lewis for nearly 20 years. And as every fan of the show knows, Reva has an unbelievable zest for life. She will do or say just about anything. But she does it all in the name of love. Her love for one man, her only true love, Mr. Joshua Lewis.
That's right. My name is Robert Newman, and I have played the character of Josh Lewis on Guiding Light for about 150 years. They faced some unusual challenges in their relationship. Like, for instance, the time you married my brother. That was odd.
That was odd. Well, now we're getting ready to remarry each other for the third time. And that makes for one incredible wedding story. So stay tuned for the wedding of Reva and Josh. Make it work this time.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever walked a day in my life without Reva in my mind somewhere. I believe absolutely that Reva Shayne is my destiny.
Joshua Lewis is my soulmate, truly. I think that we're entering into a period in our lives where hopefully we will get it right this time. I'll never forget the day that I first laid eyes on Joshua Lewis. My mama was the Lewis family maid. They had this huge ranch, and from the moment I laid eyes on him, I knew he was the one I wanted, and I was going to marry him. And it helped that they were rich.
When I met Reva, we were kids. We were just young children. We were 5 or 6 years old, something like that. She had the most beautiful blonde hair. She was so bold. And I've always been a little more reserved, a little bit more quiet. And I think what attracted me to her was exactly that. Her boldness, her craziness.
I'll never forget the first time Joshua Lewis kissed me. We were about 13, and boy, if I had any doubts at all about wanting to spend the rest of my life with him, they were over then and there.
Reva and I were joined at the hip as teenagers, but when I went off to college, it all ended. We broke up. Reva was not happy about it, and she really thought that I would never come back to her.
My heart was broken. So the way I retaliated was I decided to marry his brother Billy.
It was very difficult for me, and it actually turned me into a very angry young man.
It didn't last all that long, but I got my revenge. Years later, in 1983, I moved to Springfield, and that's where I met Joshua Lewis again.
Suddenly, Reva appeared. I didn't know why she was there, but boy, my whole heart just practically leapt out of my body.
As much as he didn't want to admit it, he was hooked again.
Those first few years that she was back in Springfield, I think the underlying thing that was happening was we were falling deeply in love with each other, but it was manifesting itself in a way that was just one battle after another.
No, I trust you.
You broke it, Red, as soon as things got
what am I supposed to do? Hang around with a woman that can't even tell me the truth?
Josh came from a totally different background than I did. I had to fight for everything I got in life. I was poor, he was rich. I was a scrapper, he was a lover. There were a lot of things that were different about us, except for the fact that it was the old adage that opposites attract. So it was a dangerous relationship because of that. It wasn't maybe but 2 years of being in Springfield that I did something that was probably the most irresponsible thing I could have done, and that was to marry Josh's daddy. I think Josh could handle my marrying his brother more than marrying his daddy, because he couldn't believe that I would ever be satisfied with someone that was HB's age.
I remember saying to them that they were pathetic. I remember saying that, and that I wanted nothing to do with them. I never wanted to see either one of them again.
He flipped out and took off in his car and wrapped it around a tree and ended up paralyzed from the waist down.
Reva!
After the car accident, I spent a period of time in a rehab center, and then it seemed like the best thing to do would be to go to a private home. And the best private home that was available was my father's home that he was now sharing with Reva as husband and wife. So that was an extremely difficult time for all of us.
The unspoken heat between the two of us at that time was like forbidden fruit. And I think deep down inside, HB knew that something was going to happen.
After Reva and I had found each other again, it was clear to me that it was just going to be impossible for us to be together, and I was just racked with guilt. I felt horrible, and I just felt that I had to leave.
For me at that point in my life, I really wanted to try to make it work with HB. We even conceived a child together. It never happened because I was hit by a car and lost the baby. He allowed me to divorce him, and I did, and it was an amicable divorce. And then Josh came back. We rekindled our relationship, and we conceived a child, who is our beautiful daughter, Mara.
Finally, we ended up where we should have been a long time ago, which was we were getting married.
It's so beautiful here. It reminds me so much of the first wedding.
In that moment, when I saw Reva coming across the lake on that rowboat, I really believed that this was it, and we would be happy forever. I couldn't imagine anything that would ever separate us again.
We were happy for a nice period of time together with our daughter Mara, and in fact so happy that we conceived another child, our darling son Shayne. Unfortunately, I suffered from severe postpartum depression and envisioned myself being chased by a phantom black truck.
I took her down to the Florida Keys to try and get her to relax a little bit in hopes that being in a different environment would sort of shake her out of this. And the next thing I knew, she had driven her car off of a bridge. And I remember diving into the water after her. I searched for hours and hours and hours, and she was never found.
Everyone thought I was dead. I spent 5 years with what I guess was amnesia, not really knowing who I was. After those 5 long years, I was actually found on an Amish farm. Josh, as much as he hated to do it, went on with his life as well. He had to. So he and Annie Dutton, and they were getting married when I returned to Springfield.
And there was Reva. And I thought my whole world was just going to collapse under me. After a lot of problems, Reva and I managed to get back together, and we married for the second time. Not long into our second marriage, we began to unravel the mystery of where she had been.
And I thought that I had lived on this Amish farmland that whole 5 years, but as it turned out, I was actually the princess of a island in the Caribbean by the name of San Cristobal, where I lived my life with a wonderful man by the name of Richard Winslow, who happened to be the prince.
It was just hard for me to deal with because I could see that she had not let go of him. And I walked away from the relationship.
You know, we have been through so much.
We have.
But we're finally here at a fabulous point.
Yeah.
We're together. I do love you.
I love you, baby. Come here. It's been a couple of years since we began and failed in our second marriage. A lot's happened. We've been through a lot. I think we both matured a lot. I think we both are more realistic now about this relationship. I love her with all my heart and soul, and we truly are two halves of the same whole.
Whether we split up or not, the love was always there. We stayed true to our devotion to each other. I never really truly loved any of the other men I was involved with as much as I loved Josh, and I believe Josh would say the same thing. Now, hopefully, this time we will be one forever and always. Well, the love of Josh and Reva has certainly withstood the test of time and challenges that could have defeated anyone other than the truest of soulmates.
Things may be calmer for these two people right now, but there's one thing you can always count on with Josh and Reva. It's always going to be full of surprises.
were nervous about proposing to me this time, though.
I was not nervous.
Yes, you were.
Excuse me, I was not.
Yeah, I think you were afraid I was going to say no. I do.
When I proposed to Reva for the third time, I wanted to make it very special.
So you want to tell me why we're here?
Here in Cross Creek. Well, first of all, I took her up to Cross Creek, which is a very special place for both of us. I had set up a bunch of candles there, and Reva and I went around and we lit different candles for different parts of our lives, for the good times in our lives and the bad times in our lives.
When Joshua proposed to me this time, I was so touched. I know it's going to work out this time. People in Springfield will laugh at us if we have a formal wedding again. I would. So this is more of a party. We're making this more of a celebration of our lives together.
And we got into the circle. Here we go, Tony. Yeah. Yeehaw!
With this wedding, we decided to bring a little Oklahoma back to Springfield. So we hired a dance instructor to teach everyone how to do basically the Virginia reel, or a version of a square dance, and we're going to make them do it at the reception, whether they like it or not.
Take her over. And when they split, you're going to face your partner, give them the right hand.
Oh my gosh, their relationship has been so crazy, but they definitely belong together, and obviously they're back together again now, and hopefully this time it'll finally be the last time.
Until you find your original partner, now you're going to, when you come up to them, you're going to hook the right arm.
I really do believe that this time around, this is forever. Reva and I are just the same person. We really are. Everything we've learned and all the trials and tribulations that we've been through, all the difficult times we've had together, those have all been a learning process, a prelude to this time when we are going to be together now, forever.
See, now you're all glad you're coming to our wedding, aren't you? Come on, even Grant's looking like he's smiling.
That was fun.
That was fun.
We're going to be fabulous.
I cannot believe that the day
It's
is finally
here. We're bringing Oklahoma here, too. I love you.
I love you, baby. I'm really excited about the people that I'm going to see at this wedding that I haven't seen in such a long time. It just really touches my heart that so many family members will be there.
First of all, I would just like to say thank you for coming here tonight. And thank you for having the same faith in me and Reva that she and I have in each other.
I think Josh and Reva, I mean, it's obvious. They totally belong together. They've been in love since they were children, and we've all been waiting around for it to happen again, and it finally has.
Everybody all together now. Josh,